Hi, we're back with George Benson, and now it's time to find out some of the secrets that George Benson has in his guitar playing that we all wonder about. George, one thing I've noticed, and everybody notices, is how often you play horizontally up and down the neck rather than across the strings. And all the greats do that. You know, we mentioned Jody in a previous lesson. He plays like that, suggests everybody plays that way. Most guys play horizontally. Why do you? And what got you started?
Well, I found out that the technique I was using, that which my father turned me on to at an early age, was not one that was conducive to playing, consecutive notes very fast. Especially if you're playing vertically.
Right.
I can play that, but if you speed that up, I'd have a difficult time. But in playing
Now, is that because of your right hand or your left hand?
my right hand is the problem.
Okay.
So I found that I could play this. I found out that was easier. And the good thing about it, I found out why. The strange thing about playing, the notes are going up, but you're going down physically. You're going down the fingerboard, so
Yes.
now your brain is like, you got to put extra information into the computer. But if I'm going up and my hands are going up, less information for the computer.
I have to admit, that wasn't an answer I was expecting. That's a really unique way of looking at that. I'm going to be thinking about that one for a while.
And I can think about something else that I want to do while I'm doing that, because now everything is moving the way it should. I can think about something else.
It's very natural, sure.
I can let it breathe the way it comes naturally. And it often tells me what I should be playing next. Because it has to be something that works with what I just got to play. It shouldn't be too drastic a change.
Sure, sure. Now, do you find there's more uniformity in your sound when you stay on one string longer? Does that help?
I never really thought about that, but something's a good question. I imagine that it is because my stroke would be intact. Yeah, the stroke is intact. And I'm not doing anything drastic. When you change strings, you actually get a different sound.
Absolutely.
Ever so slight.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
subtle.
Jody, once again, his name will come up. He plays melodies up and down one string all the time for that very reason.
And Django was the master.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. A lot of those gypsy jazz guys are.
Sounded like one violin string, didn't it?
Yes, yeah, it really did. But here's a question for you. Is it harder in certain keys than others to play horizontally? Because do you run out of room in certain keys?
That can be a problem. I never thought about that. And one day I heard a recording that I did called White Rabbit.
Oh, I remember it well.
And I remember that I made the record with a non-cutaway guitar. It was a great instrument, but and I'm playing very high on there. And somebody pointed out to me, they said, "Man, how did you get those notes on that guitar?" I said, "Because I never think about that. When I think about guitar, I never worry about the neck. The notes are there. I mean, you got all of the access to. There's more notes than I'm ever going to be able to play available to us from up to the 14th fret or 15th fret, whatever that is, and that's plenty of room." So I never really thought about it. But it is nice if you're up here and you want to add a couple extra notes.
Sure.
It's nice to have that.
Sure.
But I never worried about it. And when I'm down here, my mind transposes. From an E, I start thinking up here. I just transpose it, as opposed to.
Yeah.
There's only two positions that I'm comfortable in. It's this one, and this one.
Okay. All right.
Everything else is in between there, and that gives you plenty of room or things to think about.
Okay, so it's really, you work with whatever you have to work with, regardless of the key. Is that right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
that makes perfect sense.
After a while, you get familiar with the instrument, then it doesn't bother you anymore. In the early days, it was a problem.
Was it? Okay.
I don't think about it anymore because now I found some things to play in between positions that are probably more interesting than playing on the position.
Yes, creating tension that way.
And it keeps keeps the song alive because people don't know where you're going to go next until you get there.
Could I get you to play something horizontal, a little slower, where we could absorb what you're doing a little better?
Sure. You notice I changed positions to put myself in the right position for the next group of notes. I said, and then I said,
Do you find yourself transitioning from position to position on one string more than the other? You usually your G string there more than the
I
previous
did?
strings.
I
think
see,
you did.
you just turned me on to something because I never really think about it.
Okay,
But
all right.
it's, I mean, that's the thing that you have to work out for yourself. Some people are just more proficient. It can be size of hands. And as you notice, I'm a flat-fingered player.
Yeah.
When I say that, I don't play people. I saw one of my friends just a couple of days ago, and I noticed that his fingers was already, this first knuckle was always pointing like that. And he's a very clean player because of it. But because we played loud and we had acoustic guitars, electric F-hole guitars in our hand, it would often feed back.
Right, right.
So we could play and catch all of the feedback notes at the same time without giving up our licks. We'd
Sure.
go in. But if the note started humming, we would always be there to catch it.
Oh, I know.
So I couldn't play flat fingered, which is that style. I mean, I couldn't play this bent knuckle style.
fingertips and-
But I played flat finger, which puts me in position to catch notes.
I see.
No room for the note to start humming.
You have no calluses. Why?
This is an incredible story, but it's the truth. Our keeping strings was very tough. They only made one set, and it was the Black Diamonds.
Oh, I remember them.
And they used to unravel on us. So we'd have a lot of barbs sticking out. And I was always afraid I was going to run into one of them because it hurt. You'd be playing, you run into a barb. So I started playing lightly, very light. So in case I ran into a barb, it didn't cut right through my finger.
And to this day, that's why you don't have calluses.
I don't have a callus. Never had one. And even when I play with my thumb, I remember Montgomery's thumb was all callus.
So I've heard. Yeah.
It was a big callus, and it always sounded like he had a pick in his hand, didn't it? Because of the callus.
Well, his tone,
His sound was very good because it was a combination of flesh and that callus. And he had a great technique that he used. Most people think Montgomery played the way I would play. That works for me, but for him, he played perpendicular to the string.
Yeah.
And his thumb was, he was double jointed. He could make his thumb touch his wrist. I can't even get close to that. But it was a very unusual style. But what I found the advantage of that is that the tone improves tremendously. You hear all of the highs in it. You hear the harmonics in it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Much more fuzzy, sound like got a little fuzz on the end of it, but the point is there also. As opposed to,
Right.
you hear the note, but you don't hear the fuzz, the nice, beautiful part, when he played things.
Yeah, that's the
That's
tone that
some
Makes you
great
cry.
stuff. I mean, he was really a great player. And my favorite by him, no, I shouldn't even play that. I can't play like Montgomery.
You play like you. That's the part that counts. Okay. Well, I think we've all learned a lot from this. This is great. So we've learned about horizontal playing. We've learned about percussiveness in this lesson. And I think we all have a lot to go home and practice now. Thanks, George.
Yeah, that's my
We'll be
pleasure.
back with more lessons.